Hello everyone, let's do some drawing. Today I've been joined by Vigo, the little miniature that we made the other day. So I thought he'd sit there and yeah, today I thought we'd do some of the artwork for the location cards. So what my plan was just to use just a little chunk of the right side of each card just to show a little bit of the world itself without encroaching too much onto the written bit of the card. But yeah, I thought each one should have a little something just to break up all the writing bits. So this one, I haven't quite figured out the name, but I've got somewhat of the idea of the card itself already and what the location has to offer. But this one's quite a creepy one, and I thought, let's start with the creepy ones first. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of a sketch to get the idea of it so far, and then we'll go from that. And I hope this. It's been a while. I hope this video finds you well. Hope you're doing okay. I'm using a bit of natural light today because the sun's out. I know. Can't believe it either. So I thought we'll make the most of it and do a nice natural light video, which we haven't been able to do for a few months. Can't wait for summer again. Right. So this one's kind of like an overgrown coppice, and yeah, we'll try and really get that sort of sense of just madness and like quite a thick thicket. I know. I am a wordsmith. A thick thicket. Yeah. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're an old friend to the channel, welcome back. It's good to see you. Right. I think that's looking alright actually. We want a lot of mess in this one. You know, we don't want it tidy, and we kind of want this sense that there's lots of old roots rotting and falling down, and yeah, just kind of creepy and weird, and I think that's fine actually. Okay, we need some stuff in the foreground. We also need something that's gonna catch the eye of the onlooker. So we need to think of a focal point, which I think will be here, but maybe this single post actually. I don't know. That kind of spoke out to me immediately, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, cool. We might do some assets as well for the game today, because I fancy doing a little bit of a mix. Alright, where should we start? Let's start here and go that way, I think. What do you think? He agrees. Excellent. And I want to do it nice and sketchy because that's my favorite way to draw. And then, probably not in this video, but a little bit afterwards, I will do all the shadows. Because shadows take me a very long time to sort of think what I'm doing, and I think it can be quite a slow paced video, even for my liking, so I'll do that. I'll do that outside of this drawing. Okay. So I've also got lots of little plants in the world, which I'm making. So I'll draw them as we go, and then we can sort of have a little discussion about what they are and what they do for the world itself. Am I in focus? Yeah, I think so. Excellent. There's the type of flower, kind of like, I'm probably going to get it wrong now. Foxglove. Foxglove? I think that's right, but I'm not sure. And they're quite common in this world. But the top of it is almost like a spine. Because when things decay in this world, they sort of come out in the plants itself. And I know it's creepy and macabre, but this game is kind of creepy and macabre, so it works quite well. I'm doing lots of little roots. But yeah, we'll make it nice and messy. Because if if you draw, I find it myself that if I draw with this goal to try and get it to be perfect, it's too much pressure, and then I end up sort of jumping back and forth from styles. So if I just kind of have fun and, get the idea across rather than trying to make it this, perfection, I find it more fun to just do my thing. And it doesn't matter if we go over the line a little bit, because when we edit them and stick them on the cards themselves, it'll be fine. And we're just going to have this straight line, but I think that's a straight line almost. I almost used a ruler today. Okay, and then another rooty bit coming up this one. If I'm sort of wrapping around, and we're not looking for anything glorious, just something creepy on the bottom of the page for each location, just to give give a little hint to the idea of the world. I've been back and forth for dozens of ideas for how to illustrate the world, and I think I've got what I want, and that's this a little bit of art on these cards, and that doesn't give away too much. And we've talked about this in the past, but I think for horror and games that don't really tell you the whole truth at the start, I think there needs to be a lot of that sort of hidden quality. Kind of like when we're talking about how to draw monsters and nasties and that sort of nature. What you want is a little bit of secrecy. So I think this is what the idea of how to show the art of the world. We'll do that quite proud, I think. Hope so anyway. In my head, this is like some sort of cast iron post that was put here and then forgotten almost. But yeah, you might be thinking that's a lot of squiggly wigglies and, messy details, and it is. This is it will even be this size, it'll be ever so small, ever so smaller than this, because I don't think we want that much of the card taken up by this stuff. What should I do here? I feel like this is a good chance to draw something in the foreground. In fact, we will do that. We'll change as we go. And if we were drawing, try and get perfection and what have you, we certainly wouldn't have the freedom to sort of just sketch out a little idea as it pops in the head, In the head? Apparently not my head. Someone else's head. Right. Cool. I'm going to do another little root. Lots of little details. And I think, just like when we drew Vigo, we'll have lots of ink and we'll have lots of pencil work that just sort of breaks up all the little details. Gives it a little bit more depth. Like that. Yeah, I quite like this. So yeah, it's going to be an overgrown coppice, and so when you go there, it's a foraging area. So we talked a little bit about the foraging aspect of the game, which is quite a big chunk of it. And when you get there, you can use as many dice as you wish. The dice are your stamina, your breath. And you can use as many as you like to see what you find. But you have to be careful, because any failed dice rolls, you'll make a noise and then you'll attract things that you don't really want to be there with you. So, yeah, it's a little bit of risk and reward, even when you're just searching through, you know, mushrooms and things of that nature to make food and customize your character a little bit. Make effigies and talismans and trinkets that just change how your character works ever so slightly. Might be things like your basic attack does bleed, and then you'll be able to do a bleed attack every time, you know. So if you like to build a character that sort of way, or you might even get one, you know, might be able to make a trinket, or even find something. If you have a high enough roll, you can just outright find things straight away, which I like. That is sort of rewards for high rolls. But strangely enough, I always like the idea of rewarding low rolls as well. Oh, there's a boiler, right on time. Oh, boiler. My arch nemesis of videos. That's not true. My arch nemesis is the magpies, but I don't think they've quite noticed me in my little room yet. So as soon as they do, I'm sure they'll be out in troves, singing and dancing outside of my window. It's what they like to do. What was I talking about? Nope, no idea. Oh yes, so you can forage all sorts of little knickknacks and little bits and pieces, and I sort of made a decision. I sort of made a decision that the stuff that you forage will not be the same stuff that you make the homunculi with. It's totally separate. So when you fight creatures, so when you find bones and sinew and all that gross stuff, that's what we'll be making the homunculi. Because I've been doing a little play testing before I get out on the Patreon. I want to make sure it's somewhat more balanced than it is now, because what I was finding is there was this strange, you know, fight off with what you gather. Do you want to save it to make the homunculi, or do you want to use it to make, you know, better equipment and stuff? So what I've decided is that all the organic materials, or the creature material, like I said, bones, sinew, that stuff, that's what makes the homunculi, and a little bit of iron for a couple of them, because like Margaret, she has these big cast iron scissors, so it made sense. Or Margaret can just use simple weapons. And simple weapons are just, you know, like scissors, small hand blades, saws, things of that nature. Anything you'd find in a garden shed, really. And then you wouldn't need to worry about waiting to make it for her. You could actually use it yourself until you were able to make her. And then all the other stuff like mushrooms, roots, wood, snail shells, things of that nature, that's what you would make the talismans and your items. So there wasn't this sort of fighting for resources, because I think that could be quite frustrating. And during the playthroughs, it was a little bit frustrating. I said, I don't like this. I have to change this. So I did. And I think it works a lot better now. So yeah, the idea is to still get the playtest up and running soon. I just want it to be in a little bit of a better place than it is now. It just feels a little bit messy. And also, it'd be nice to have some of the art for the cards, wouldn't it? Otherwise, it's a bit bland, even though it is sort of strangely early stages of a game that I've been working on for years. I just, suddenly realised it's too much going on. So I had to take a little bit away from it. I've got my cup of tea next to me, but I found myself in a bit of a flow of drawing, so I don't want to leave and grab my tea. What if I lose my flow? I know. Maybe it'd be high risk, high reward. Yeah, Actually, speaking of homunculi, I've always gone on and on about them for years, and all of a sudden, we've been shown by a friend that Mackenzie Crook made a new show called Little Prophets. And if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. So yeah, I don't want to talk much more about that than I already have, but it's very good. Same person that did The Detectorists, which was a show about people using metal detectors. And it's as boring as it sounds, but it's quite lovely. Definitely a favourite of mine. Actually, I was watching it this morning. Right, this is looking alright actually. It's a little bit messy, but I think that's alright. And then we'll see what it's like once we do a little bit of shading and a little bit of pencil work as well in there just to break it up. But the idea was for it to be dense because it's a really good foraging area, but if you forage and get quite a low score, you're not only just going to make noise and bring things to you, there's also something really nasty hiding in this area, specific for this location. So that was quite cool. We want loads of little, almost like roots, almost like this tree. The branches are like the roots, sort of an upside down world. Something I've always really liked the idea of. I guess that would be the taproot, wouldn't it? Yeah. Cool. Cool. Oh, there's an extra light there. I didn't need that. And then we'll do some little details all over here. Right, so, and now I'm wondering, because it's been quite a quick video, someone's hitting metal on metal outside. Standard. I wonder if he's a blacksmith or something. I hear this chap banging away all the time. I wonder if that's what he's doing. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Right, that looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. What have I smudged on here? Yeah. Oh no, it's coffee. I had coffee on my finger. Oh no, gross. Anyway, it's fine. It's not on the drawing itself, so we're okay. It's not coffee, it's treacle. So we ran out of honey. This is about as exciting as my life is. We ran out of honey, and I was too lazy to go to the shop. I really wanted to do a video and get it out of the way and make sure it gets on the YouTube soon. And so I thought, well, treacle kind of looks like honey, so I'll give that a go. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's try it. So I've got treacle infused tea. Let's see. Tastes like treacle on my tea, but not bad. I can deal with that. Quite partial to a treacle tart, so I think it worked quite well. Right, I think we're good there. That's not bad. It's quite small, isn't it? Should we do another one? Let's do another one. Right, where's my high-tech, very professional way of drawing? Excuse me, vegan. Go over there. Right, so we'll draw another one. Oops. My desk is very cluttered. Cool. Okay. That's a very big line, isn't it? Let me take that away. Don't like the look of that. Cool. What should the next one be? Oh, I've got a really macabre one, actually, a really creepy, gross one. And so as you're going along, you'll find like a makeshift gallows. And I'll do a bit of land again. And then suspended from the makeshift gallows is, I'll do a nice rotten piece of wood. We want it to come out ever so slightly from the line of the page. So it doesn't look flat. I'll do another beam of wood here. And suspended from it is a very large trunk of wood on a chain. And don't worry, it will make sense in the story, almost, as you play along. But yeah, it's really creepy. So we want, what is that going to be? We could have it like hanging forward like that. Yeah, that'll work, I think. And then we'll have a sort of like, it looks like it's embedded in there. We want it sort of leaning from the weight, and then almost like a giant fishing hook through it. And this huge log of, well, a huge log of log. Ugh, gosh. I know. Okay. It's a little, doesn't look too organic, so let's put some little marks all the way down, and then excuse me. And down here we won't be so mushroomy and stuff. We'll just have this weird fungi forest below. And so this particular area, you can go about in a few different ways to bring it down, and each way has a good thing or a bad thing about it. So you can just rip it down if you have enough strength. And if you rip it down, then you'll get sort of more rewarded with what you find straight away. And it's just sort of, it will even tell you if you bring it down like this, you'll find a little bit more. And then, or you can wait for it. So you can discard a dice and just sort of sit and wait. You might even be able to rest while you wait, sort of thing. And then that won't make as much noise because I guess it will all crumble down together. So you find less, but you'll have less noise and less issues. So that's another one. And then you can just leave it altogether. And as you're leaving it, you'll also come across something. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. So you have choices. We like choices. All right. Make this beam look like it's been there for 1,000 years or so. And again, we're not worried about it looking too messy. We like messy today. Nice big chain. Little flicks of ink. Little pockets of shimmer and stuff, just so it looks like, you know, sturdy metal. And so, and then the hook that side. Cool. Oh, it's very Dark Souls, this, I think. Yeah. Cool. Do a few little mushrooms, sort of breaking up the lines. So if you ever notice, I always leave a couple of little pockets in my straight lines and stuff, just so I can throw something in there if I want to, or I can just leave it. You know, you don't need to close every single line if you're just sketching, or even not. I feel like it softens it, and I don't know, looks less harsh and easier to look at. I just realised we didn't actually do a focal point on the last one, but I quite like that. It's meant to be messy, you know. And then here we go, we've got the tree root here. So yeah, it's a weird one, you know. You've just got this giant log decaying and rotting, and it's just suspended from, you know, a handmade gallows. And you have have to play the game to know why. Yeah, we're doing lots of trees and wood today, aren't we? Seems a bit weird because we normally just draw characters, but at some point you need to start drawing the world itself. My Pinterest is just hundreds of images lately of just like the moors and highlands of Scotland and fields and covered in mist. I must admit, been really enjoying making these Pinterest boards lately. Oh, itchy nose. Oh dear. Right, and I guess what we'll do is, because it's sort of looks homemade and fashioned, this thing will put sort of like leather bound straps wrapping around it, just to show that, you know, it's not made by anyone who knew they would do, and they just sort of maybe made it as quick as possible for some reason. But I couldn't possibly tell you what the reason was. That would be cheating, wouldn't it? Right. And then that bit can actually hang off the page. That's not a problem at all. You know, if I was good at drawing crows, I would have drawn a little crow up here, a little raven just looking down. But I'm terrible at drawing birds, and I need to practice a lot more. Actually, do we want that sort of encroaching? Yeah, we do, don't we? So what we'll do is we'll extend this branch, wink, wink, over here. There we go. I almost draw like a spine in the wood itself. There we go. And then we'll draw lots of little rivets and almost like scrape marks. Almost. Dun dun dun. Oh, a little bit of an update. The book that we're working on, it will be coming. And the video will be coming when we'll do a bit of a read through and all that. And I know I said this, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago, that we'll do it for the next video, but we've been doing the editing again. I went back to the book just to make sure it all kind of reads right. And in fact, I actually changed a few little bits because it just wasn't quite, some of the little bits weren't very clear. So I wanted to make sure that was perfect before putting it on KDP or on Amazon. But as soon as it is, we'll do a video and it will coincide with the release. So thank you for all your patience and, you know, your kind words and all the support. It means the world, but don't worry, it is coming. Just, you know, life gets in the way a little bit, doesn't it? Cool. Cool. Right, and then we'll do some more little details here. Nice. Okay. And I've been seeing a few comments like that. People, you know, are getting back into drawing, and you know, they're trying to find that space in their lives to be creative again. And just want to say, good luck to you all. You know, and definitely give it a go. You got this. You know, it's nice to be creative, and in whatever way that is. You know, I always find it a creative means, even if reading or just daydreaming. That's a wonderfully creative thing to do, and I think people don't give it enough sort of love and attention and respect. You know, when you're daydreaming, you're imagining the world, or you know, imagine how you're gonna, if you had like a little fireplace in your house, and you know how you dress it, or you know, a holiday or whatever. It's all being creative. So I think some people worry that they're not creative, but you are. Everyone is creative. especially daydreaming. I think that's very creative. Spend most of my life in a daydream. It definitely shouldn't. Need to be concentrating. That's why I probably keep bumping into things. Cool. I wonder if this even needs a bottom. I don't think it does. I think if we bring this right down to about here instead, and then we'll do a beam of wood, and leave a few little bits there for it to, and we'll shorten it up here so it kind of looks like almost 3D. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing as an artist. There we go. And then this bottom beam will kind of buckle back on itself because I guess it's being, and the wood's being like pushed up here. Cool. Right. And a few little mushrooms, because why not, eh? Even though this whole location to be foraging is all about the big stump of wood that's suspended. That's quite cool, actually. Yeah, I think when that's all inked and, you know, it's got a bit more depth and a bit more denseness, I think that'll be really cool. We got loads of assets to do as well, and I did start the video before doing it, and I didn't record. Well, I did record, but I can't remember there was something wrong with the video itself, so we'll have to go back and do that again. But don't worry, we've got time. Right, I'm a little bit lost where I was. Oh, here we go. Yeah. And there we go, and then lots of little divots and a little bit of detail. Are we in focus? I think so, right? Doobie, 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 doobie. Yeah, we are. That looks so much darker than this. How weird. Very odd. Anyway, we shall continue. Cool. Cool. And it wouldn't be a drawing unless we had a little mushroom down here. Just doing mushroom things. And a few little creepers coming up it. This bit that kind of looks like barnacles. Quite like that. So I guess it's very moist. Ugh, I hate that word. Very damp. Very damp area. Cool, then a little bit up here. Just add a few more little touches and then we'll call it a day, I think. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed yourselves here. Have a great day, and thank you to everyone for all your incredible support and kind words, and everyone that joins me here on YouTube. And thank you so much to my patrons that have supported me through cups of tea. Yeah. And good luck if anyone's doing any art today or you're thinking about it. And if you have a long week ahead of you, don't worry, you'll be all right. Right, let's end it there. Thanks for coming. You all take care. Bye.